We were early. I had learned that arriving early gave you a chance to acclimate, to read the room before it decided who you were that day. The restaurant smelled like citrus cleaner and coffee that had been sitting too long. My kids slid into the booth, still buzzing from the drive, from the idea of pancakes shaped like snowmen. I told myself this would be different. Holidays did that to me. They slipped optimism in through routine. The calendar said family. The menu said brunch. It felt safe enough to try. My father came in 10 minutes later, scarf still on, scanning the room like a man checking his work. When he saw us, he smiled in a way that never reached his eyes. He leaned in, hands on the table, voice pitched low and playful, as if we were sharing a joke. "This was meant to be a nice day," he said. "Why did you come?" It was said lightly. That was always his trick. Say the thing as if it were nothing, and then watch you decide whether to make it something. My son's fork paused halfway to his mouth. He looked at me, not at his grandfather. His voice was small, but steady. "Should we leave?" In that moment, years rearranged themselves. All the times I'd swallowed comments, laughed when it hurt, told myself it was easier this way, those were suddenly visible to him, to them. And I understood, with a clarity that felt almost calm, that staying would teach him something I didn't want him to learn. "Yes," I said. "Right now." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't look at my father. I stood, gathered jackets, thanked the server who was already walking over with water. My daughter took my hand without asking why. We walked out into the cold, the bell on the door ringing too cheerfully behind us. In the car, no one spoke for a few blocks. Then my son asked if we could still get pancakes somewhere else. I laughed, an actual laugh, surprised by how easily it came. We found a place with sticky tables and no history. The pancakes were uneven and perfect. I didn't check my phone. I knew what would be there, or what wouldn't. Silence has a shape you can feel. An hour later, the silence broke. It started with a call from my aunt, my father's older sister, who never wasted time on niceties. "What happened?" Not accusing, curious, I told her briefly. She exhaled through her nose. "He said it was a joke," she said. "He's not good at jokes." "No," I said. "He's not." Then my brother texted. "Dad's upset. He didn't mean it like that." The words were familiar, worn smooth from use. I didn't respond. What I didn't know, what I learned later, was how the brunch had unfolded without us. How the server returned with plates that no one touched. How my father waved off questions at first, then grew irritated when people didn't let it go. How my aunt finally said, loudly enough for the next table to hear, "You don't talk to your grandkids like that." Authority doesn't always wear a uniform. Sometimes it looks like a room that stops laughing. By the time my phone rang again, it was my father. I watched it buzz across the table while my kids colored placemats with crayons that smelled like wax and sugar. I let it ring out, then again, then a voicemail. His voice sounded different, thinner. "Call me," he said. "We need to clear this up." Clear, as if it were a spill. I called back once the kids were strapped in and asleep in the back seat, heads tipped toward each other, trusting the quiet. "I didn't mean it," he said immediately. "You know how I am." "I do," I said. I kept my eyes on the road. "You embarrassed me," he added, and there it was, the real wound. "I protected my kids," I said. He scoffed, then stopped himself. "You're overreacting." I felt tired then. Not angry, just tired of translating harm into something easier for him to swallow. "I won't bring them somewhere they're not wanted," I said. There was a long pause. I imagined him at the table, coffee gone cold, people looking at him differently than they had an hour before. "That's not what I said," he said, quieter. "It's what they heard," I said. "It's what mattered." We ended the call without agreement. That felt honest. Later that afternoon, my aunt texted again. "Good for you," she wrote. He needed to see it. He did regret his words. I know that now. Not because he apologized in the way movies teach you to expect, but because something shifted. Invitations came with care instead of assumption. Comments were checked before they were released. It wasn't warmth. It was restraint. The relationship didn't heal. It recalibrated. Sometimes I grieve the version of a father who could have made that brunch easy. Sometimes I miss the convenience of silence. But when my son asks now whether we should leave a place that feels wrong, I don't hesitate. Yes, I say, right now. And that answer keeps echoing forward, doing quiet work I didn't know how to name before.